hard to hear.
Oh, dear.
You gotta talk right into that one.
Where is the other mic that was usually on the table?
Over here.
You got talk.
You gotta talk right into it.
Okay, then how can Dr. Nasr?
Well, I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna just put it aside. That's okay.
Do you want to take the one over there?
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do it this one.
Okay. As I told you, I usually know what I'm going to say, and tonight I'm absolutely floored. Hormones and how they work. And for you new people that don't know Dr. Nasr, he had his PhD in biochemistry before he ever became an MD. And his approach to nutrition is so different than other doctors' approaches that it just floors me. And he gets the results from the way he treats people that other people don't get, that other doctors don't get. Because your car doesn't run right if it doesn't have the correct fuel, and neither does your body. So, and the hormones are really the things that we create within our body that fine-tune us. And he's going to tell you about fine-tuning our body so that it works better tonight. Dr. Nasr, welcome to Wisconsin, and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Can you hear? I didn't know how to do it. Scientifically, biochemistry, physically, and neurologically, so complicated subjects. And I know I can get the results with people, but I don't know how to lecture about it. Then what I have decided is I have to try in the local area first and experiment with local groups and the same lecture, see how it works. So the Catholic Church invited me to give a lecture. I said, well, I got a lecture on hormones for you guys. Here the priest and the nuns sitting talking about hormones. I said, I don't understand if you even know what I'm talking about. But, however, maybe you would. So in any way, that worked pretty good. And then we had, like, you're talking about audience. You have 75 or 100 people. We had 3 people, 4 people. That's all we had in the lecture that day, because everybody was in the church and only 4 people were interested to hear about nutrition. Well, that was the first one. The second one, the whole room was packed. So in any way, the reason the topic was selected about hormones, it is because for the past 26 years, I've been working with nutrition, vitamins, minerals. We talked about many things, include diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune disease, chronic fatigue syndrome. We talked about lots of things. We did hormone lectures once in a while, but just general, not really good lectures, but just lecture on certain topic like diabetes alone or something like that. It was not really organized lecture that the people go out and follow a pattern of certain things to get some results. Okay? Because when you talk about hormones, you have to be extremely careful because hormones is one of these things. If you have enough, you are perfect. If you have little, you are in trouble. If you have too much, you are in trouble. This is the kind of thing. Hormones. Hormones are what keep you in the best shape or the worst shape are the hormones. They're not enzymes. They're not protein. They're not carbohydrates. They're not vitamins. They're not minerals. They're not neurological cells. They're not any. They're just little drops of liquid. They come out. One single drop comes out from your brain in your bloodstream give you energy for 16 hours. One single drop of that gland, any gland, one of those glands, give you energy for 16 hours. Imagine, this is a tremendous catalyst, reminding me by nuclear reactors. Like a little thing can give energy to submarine for a whole year, or spaceship or something like that. That's what hormones are. And the reason I'm speaking about hormones, not only because the great results we have with it, is because the people who don't know anything about physiology and biochemistry, they start prescribing hormones in health food stores in large quantities without knowing the danger of it. Even if it's natural, it still can be dangerous. Are you following me or no? And that's really what promoted me to speak, because last year was the melatonin thing, you know. And I'm anti-melatonin. The reason I'm anti, because your body has to make your own melatonin. You cannot just take somebody's melatonin and put it in your body. You follow me or no? It's just like your own red blood cells. You have to make your own red blood cells. You cannot live in somebody else's red blood cells, the blood transfusion. Because if you do, you might feel good for a few days or so, but eventually you have to get rid of it and make your own. And now this year, DHEA, you know, is very famous. You heard about it, which is a male hormone, of course. DHEA is a testosterone hormone. And of course, everybody takes a hormone. Hormones like drugs. You know, you're going to take some, you're going to feel great, and then you take it next time, you feel less great, you take it after 6 months, 7 months, you're in trouble if you are taking too much of it. Any hormone, it doesn't matter what, you can be in big trouble. It has to be monitored by blood tests. The level has to be checked. What's your level? And the level of hormone for all of us is the same. Not men and women, different, of course. All the levels for men are the same. All the levels for women are the same. It does not fluctuate between person to person. It does not fluctuate with age. You understand that? The same thyroid, 6.5, for example, everybody needs 6.5. If it is estrogen hormone 400, every woman needs 400. If it is progesterone 23 reading, I'm just giving you some reading, every woman needs 23 reading. If it is testosterone for a man, 1100, 900, every man has to have 900 or 1100. You know, it does not fluctuate. If he's going to be that way, that's what he needs. Okay, insulin. If it is, it has to be so much insulin, it has to be the same amount of insulin for everybody. So these are what made me talk about the hormones today. This is why we decided, from my previous experience, it's impossible to talk about it in one lecture. Because the results I had gotten over the last 15 years and given natural hormones to men and women, I found out that it is impossible to talk about it in one lecture or 2 lectures, so we guessed 3 lectures. So this is going to be, it says 1 out of 3. You saw that in the brochure, right? It is only guessing because I really don't know how long it's going to take. It might take 2 lectures and we say we're finished. It might take 4 lectures because we might run across somebody in the audience who have certain problem and we have to address that disease. And we have to spend more time for that person. Addison disease, Hashimoto thyroiditis, Graves' disease, whatever. We need to spend more time for that. I didn't plan on that. But it's just having the person is dead, then I have to give them the information and other people. To talk about the title of the lecture, of course, Joyce is wonderful of making titles. You know, she should work for TV stations, you know. She come with these titles that makes everybody, I said, how hormones work, nutrition, keep you feeling good. I said, if there is no snow tonight, we're not going to have an empty seat. We're going to have the parking lot full of people. So I hope we get some snow so we don't have too many people. And that's exactly what we did. Even with a snowy night, and we drive in here, and I hitch a ride all the way from Chicago here at 30 miles an hour, Believe it, all the way. Still made it on time. And look how many people we have. It is because that once you write feeling good and looking good, that's what everybody want to hear. That's the title caption right there. And that's why she put it right there. If we just say hormones alone, nobody will come. But looking good, feeling good, and then everybody will come. Okay, because that is what we're living for. We're living for two things only in life. One is to worship God. Second, to feel good when we're doing so. Because you can't worship God when you have migraine headache splitting your head and say, "You're going to pray." So I need something for the headache. Or you have a broken bone. You say, "Well, say a prayer." So just fix my bone, then I say a prayer. You know, people need to feel good to do anything. You know, you can just say to somebody who having a massive heart attack, pray, pray, pray. I said, you know, help him first, then he prays second. You know, because if your car is empty of gas, and then you say, "Well, I'm not going to go to the gas station, I'm just going to pray," well, I keep praying all night, you know, you're not going to have any gas, you know. Well, so this is the whole thing about health. Every day I practice, I see signs of God in life, how people who take good care of themselves look, and how people who don't take care of themselves look. Every single day I live, I practice, I can see it. I can see it that people that I saw 1981, and I say to them, "This is what you should have done." Then I see him 1995 dying from cancer. What happened for 14 years? Where was I at? And my patients know that if they don't come, they can call by phone and get answers at no charge. It's not like a lawyer charged per minute. I might not answer right away, but I will answer within 24 hours. Still, I didn't get a call. Then they wait until this is a sign, means don't wait until your body tells you there is a problem. Try to find the problem before you know you have the problem, because the problems are there. The hormonal imbalance is there, the nutritional deficiency is there, the cancer cells are there, the blocked arteries are there, the aging process are going on is there. You know, you're not going to stop it. These are things going on. Why it's going on? Because from previous lecture we said, if we live in an environment that the vitamins are perfect, the air is perfect, the water is perfect, we have no stress, we don't need to worry about any of that stuff. But that's not the reality of our life these days. So the hormones, to be able to understand how do they work in your body, if we look at the human body and draw a skeleton to that body like we always do in every lecture, and the skeleton is made of bones, and the bones are made of cells. To look good and feel good, those cells have to do their job. What do they make? Those cells of the bone. They make what? They make blood. And without blood, you're not going to feel good. Right or wrong? And then, inside the body, one organ some people don't have, that organ here also made of cells. And that organ also have a function. What does it do? It makes you see, think, balance, happy, sad. That's called the brain, by the way. Right here. They're made of cells also. Inside this body, there is also an organ outside right here called the skin. And the skin also made of cells. And if the skin does not look good, or feel good, it will develop cancer, it will develop disease, it will develop psoriasis, it will develop lupus, it will develop scleroderma, it will develop, you name it, and it can even develop wrinkles, and we have problem with the skin, and there is more money spent to put things on skin from outside than we're spending from inside to make the skin healthier. Why? Because we are programmed in our society now that you evaluate your fellow man by the way the skin looks. If the skin look young, then you hire him for the job. If the skin look old, then you don't hire him for the job, without asking any question. Is that true or not true? Is that true or not true? Somebody walks in, they look old, doesn't matter. They don't get the job. And that's sad. Why is sad? Because you have to evaluate people from inside out. It's a cultural thing. It is not a human thing. It's something we're going through. It's going to change eventually. It's a stage, 200 years of development, scientific development. We developed that. It's not going to last forever. I was talking to somebody about the changes going through this in this country right here, and Europe and Africa, all over the world, how much hate, how much wars, how much people love to shoot each other and kill each other and stab each other. And I don't see dogs and cats doing that to each other. I said to human beings do that to each other. I wonder why. Then somebody might think, because we're human. No, that's not true. Because I came from a country who Adam was born there. Egypt, according to all studies right now, that Adam and Eve started in the middle of Africa someplace. It was not in Asia, was not in any place. This is most of the people who study religion, they say this ideas right now. And they say it's about 10,000, 11,000 years ago. Well, my village is about 8,000 years old. So I look at people there, just try to remember my past history. People do not ask questions about age or sex or how old are you, how rich are you, none of that stuff is being asked. I never remember a single birthday being celebrated in my village, and we've been there 7,000 years. Because it's not important to the people. People look at each other's heart rather than they look outside. You follow me? So this skin becoming a big problem is because we're less of spiritual people inside. We're more looking at the outside than the inside. And I hope that changes. But it's the title of the lecture, Looking Good, so we have to address it in today. So and we can do that. Because I did research on that too. And I proved that through hormonal balancing, wrinkles can disappear and skin can look 20, 30 years younger. Without makeup. We can do that. And that is something we're going to be discussing through the lectures, through those three lectures. Inside this person in front of you, there are the organs, important also. One up right here for the air, and if you don't have enough oxygen, you will be short of breath. You cannot catch your breath. And that's also important to make you feel good, to make you that you can run for 5 miles without being tired, because the oxygen is going in. And lots of us, we start losing that. And the reason we're losing that is because of the hormones. Because I have no doubt in this room right here, in my mind, that everybody in this room who drove through the snow, everybody, do not take illegal drugs, do not smoke, do not drink alcohol, and they take vitamins, I take good food, I take care of themselves. Everyone in this room is. I might be wrong. If you are one of them, get out before we find it. Okay. But, it is only very few people think about the quality of their life. They want to change something. Because when you're young, you don't want to think about your health at all. Inside this body, there's other organs. Also, right here is the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, and the liver, and the pancreas. We call the system is what? The digestive system. It digests food, so you can absorb it. Also, if something, hormones work in that area. When I show you later on what hormones and how much trouble you are in by having problem in some of these hormones, now you can understand why you're having this problem or this problem or this problem or this problem, because they're all related to the hormonal issues. Inside this body right here, in the back, there are two kidneys, and they are made of cells, and those kidneys, they get rid of chemicals also, and if you don't have good functioning kidney, then you're going to have poison inside the blood, then you're going to have problems. We turn it back right here. Then inside this body, there is one main organ right here called the heart. It takes the food and sends it to all these organs. Send it all over here. What does it send? Tubes full of blood into every organ. And the main reason I became a cardiologist after I was a nutritionist is because if I can have a good heart and clean arteries and deliver those nutrients to every place in the body, I think I'm going to have better success than any other doctor. Just about 20 years ago, my ideas, when my professors were telling me, what you going to do? You finished and you are number one in your class, we open the door for you. Do you want to be a cardiologist? Or you want to be oncologist for cancer? Or you want to be orthopedic? Or you want to be a surgeon? Or you want to be a neurologist? You know, I got all the offers. It's very seldom even you get one fellowship offer. If you're lucky, you get one. I got about 8 of them in front of me. And each department take me for interview to convince me they have more money and more budget and more this and more that, I should be with them. Then I thought about it. I said, I don't care about all of that. One day I want to be in the with people, and which one is going to help me the most? I find out to be circulation is going to help me the most. And that's exactly what happened to my practice for 20 years. Having better circulation with good nutrition, I had great results. Until about 15 years ago, I realized hormones are missing. Then I started paying attention to that. Then 5 years ago, I started paying attention to the hormones in male hormones. Then we start having great results. So we start discovering more and more secrets about the human body that I didn't know before. Because as you know, medicine needs researchers. The stuff I'm talking about right here, I cannot say it unless somebody sits in the lab and discover it for me. You follow me or no? I cannot just go ahead and treat a patient unless a researcher comes in a magazine like this, called, for example, like Women's Physiology, and tell me in scientific articles all the research, all these doctors right here, what they have done, and how they did it, and how many patients they used, what was the good, what was the bad, what was the final result. You understand? Then I will pick from that what I need to practice with. And then when I see all of these things here, I figured that having the nutrition and having good circulation, if we have good hormones, then I think we're going to be curing lots of disease. The worst disease we have that causes the biggest problem is aging. Cells getting older. And when cells get older, they develop disease. They develop arthritis, they develop cancer, they develop all kinds of problems. And that is something I have doubts about. Aging is natural process, it is true. We are convinced with that. But we also have to be convinced that why is it somebody 100 feels like 40 and somebody 40 feels like 100? You meet people like that in your life, right? Sometimes you feel, one day you feel like you're 20 years younger, and someday you feel you are 20 years older. Why? That's aging process of the body. What went wrong there? Then this is something has to be studied, and we cannot blame it on stress. We cannot blame it on people. We cannot blame it on kids. We cannot blame it on other people. We have to blame it on ourselves. So this process right here of aging required me to go ahead and check the hormonal system of the body. The hormonal system of the body starts in the brain, right here. Number one gland. That is the hypothalamus gland, the mother gland in the brain. You know, I could have gotten lots of slides and show slides of physiology and anatomy. I don't think it's too much fun. Just keep flashing pictures in front of people. It's better to make it look like hieroglyphic like this or looks ugly so it makes you interested. You try to figure what I wrote. Okay? So this is the hypothalamus. It looks like that. Believe me, if you don't believe it, go ahead and put your hand inside your head and check it and see if I'm right or wrong. That's the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, every day at 4 o'clock in the morning, it wakes up. And every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it goes back to sleep. Amazing. In human beings. And day animals. Night animals, the reverse. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it wakes up like bats. At 4 o'clock in the morning, it goes to sleep. And they hide when the daytime comes. A reverse. And the creator who made that system knew exactly that this system did not come from monkeys. This system did not come by evolution. Are you following me or no? There is evolution. Evolution occurs, but we misinterpret evolution. Evolution occurs. But we talked about evolution among scientists, that a monkey one day became a man. And that goes completely against biochemistry and physiology and everything we know. But could God create one animal in 1 million years, create another animal another million years, another animal a million years, another one? Yes, we can have that kind of evolution. You follow me or not? Until we are ready for mankind. And that's probably what happened. Probably we were in this earth 11,000 years ago. Probably for 4 billion years, the earth was being prepared for us in stages. So we don't disagree that we are the last, because we are the masters, because we are the worshipers, and we are the ones who go to heaven and hell. The rest of them, they serve us whatever we need them. If we want to eat the bird, we kill them, we eat them. There is nothing wrong with that. If we're hungry, we eat a lettuce or plant. We don't care if the lettuce said, "Don't eat me," we're going to still eat it. Or the tomato. We are the masters. The masters have the ability to make the life good or destroy it, because they have both brains. They can destroy and they can make good and bad, evil or bad. And so we hope that we can spread more good and less evil, because nowadays it's the opposite. This gland here wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning and secretes a hormone. And when that hormone, a drop of blood, it goes like this, a drop like this, in the bloodstream, it travels. The heart starts going faster. The stomach is going faster. The skin gets warmer. And you stop dreaming. The dream stops, and you start getting ready to wake up. And the body is ready for next day, and you wake up with energy. Then it shuts off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. When it shuts off, everything shuts off. Then the skin gets colder, the brain gets sleepy, the heart slows down, the intestine slows down. You eat dinner because you're hungry, but actually if you have a choice between taking a nap or eating dinner, you probably take a nap better than eating dinner because you're tired. And that is the natural process of fatigue. I brought with me articles I passed to all of you on fatigue, and that we gave a lecture 2 years ago on chronic fatigue syndrome, and that lecture I did not make that article available because it was, you have to call me and it's 75 cents and we mail it to you and so on and so on and so on. I decided today just take the whole box and give it for free because people are not calling enough. Even if you give it to them for free, still they're not calling enough. You know, because that is something I found that I have to beg people to take care of themselves. Even I tell them, I'll teach you for free. Just come. They still don't come. Some people like that. I have some patients, I have to give them money to come in the bus and give them money to go back and treat them for free. And they still don't come. Because I know they're drinking alcohol or taking cocaine, and I know they don't want to see me. But they have kids, and I wanted to change something. And you know, in life, what goes around comes around. So I'm not doing a favor for you tonight by being here. I'm being here in this snow and all that because I want to be here. Because it gives me, it makes that hypothalamus works better in my life when I do that. And every time you give something, you help somebody, that's what you get in return. Your hypothalamus will give you another extra drop. This gland right here drops to this drop of hormone. They are, underneath it, here, there is another gland called pituitary gland. The pituitary gland gets to the drop and send it through to the body, distribute like a generator, send it like a telephone switch, this to that, to that, to that, to that. This amount of hormone will go to the skin because it's summertime and you're going to be exposed to so much ultraviolet that day, and the brain knows that. Then it will send MSH a lot to the skin to darken it so it does not get cancer. It will send so much to the thyroid because it knows that you have a big job next day and you're going to think about computer and how you're going to do and you need it, then it will send more TSH that day. And it senses that you are in the period stage and you're making eggs or you're going to have a baby or not have a baby, then it sends FSH and LH in control the amount. So you feel good. So you don't get depressed, you don't have PMS, you don't get tired. You have to remember, the mother gland function is to make you feel good, not to make you feel bad. You follow me or no? So it has senses. All the nerve cells right here in the skin and the hearings and the eye and the smell and the taste all give information to the mother gland all day, what is going on in life. And that gland adjusts itself for next day. What should it do? You understand how important hormones are? Hormones are being ignored so much that even women who take estrogen hormones by physicians, he doesn't even do a blood test to check to see if this is the right amount or too much or too little. Right or wrong? Lots of women take a thyroid. There's no blood test is being done to check to see if it's high or if it's too low. We cannot do that. This pituitary gland secretes all these things. Also secretes a hormone to the adrenal gland right here, above the kidney adrenal gland. And the adrenal gland is responsible for defending you against cancer, defending you against infections, keeping your blood pressure up, making you feel good laugh and giggle and happy because it makes adrenaline. And also it makes sex hormones, the all-female hormones. It also makes cholesterol. That gland right there also gets a message for next day. And I remember one time when I was in the second year of my internal medicine rotation, I saw lots of people tired, fatigued. Then I asked my teacher, I said, you know, I had a PhD before I was a doctor. He did not, but he's still my boss. So I know more about biochemistry than he does, but he doesn't know that. So I asked him a question. I said, you know, all those people are tired, tired, fatigued. And you keep telling them it's in their head and they are depressed, this society. Could it be their adrenal hormone is not working? Could it be hormonal? Oh, no, it doesn't exist. I remember that day, we walked in the corridor and he said, it doesn't exist. And he didn't even look at me. He just said, it doesn't exist. And we just left. And then later on, when I started practice, I found he was wrong. That adrenal gland, lots of patients have adrenal insufficiency. It is true. Some of you are doctors here or nurses. We recognize Addison disease. That when the adrenal shuts down completely, we call it Addison disease, that you will die next day or in a few days. But there is a possibility, I said, that is many Addisons that they're not dying, but they are tired, almost dying. So this is another gland that gets a message. And the ovaries right here we talked about, and the testicle right here in males, they get also messages. And the pancreas right here also gets a message. That's another gland. And this is the thyroid gland in the neck right here also gets a message to give you heat and give you energy and make you lose weight and not to gain weight and convert bad fat to good fat. These are the glands in the body here. We didn't put them in order. We didn't go through every single gland, the pineal body and all these little glands here and there. We're just going through the general thing because the idea right here is how to improve your life. If you improve, if you have a person, I'm just going to give you one example right now. If you're a doctor, you walk in to a hospital ward, and that ward is cancer patients. And 50% of them are going to die today because everything looks so bad to them. And you decided, as a doctor, I did that many times, you decided to give them hormones injection, certain hormones intravenously in high dosage with vitamins. By the evening time, they 100% better. Same day. It doesn't mean you keep doing it every day, because when you get extra hormones, you're going to have problems. But that proves the human body has the ability to reverse itself. It has the ability to heal. And the people who do not listen to themselves and don't take care of themselves by having the proper diet and the proper exercise and the proper circulation and the proper testing, eventually will pay the price one of these days, somewhere or the other. One of the glands will fail, or one of the organs will fail, and will have a problem. How many times I have patients, many times, I have 20,000 patients. How many times I have patients coming terminally supposed to die? Then we give them the same treatment, the vitamins, the minerals, the hormones, the basic stuff, improve the circulation, the exercise, and give them hope that only God takes life. Nobody else can tell you when you're going to die. We tell them that too, and then they do better. And then their doctor asked me, what did you do? I told him, I don't know what I did. I did lots of things, and he did lots of things, and we have good results. What exactly I did, I have no idea. We just said we need to change the diet, We need to change the lifestyle. We need to change the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, and all of the stuff. And then let's see what happens. We might succeed, we might fail. Most of the time, we're succeeding all the time. About a month ago, I got a call from Egypt that my uncle is like my father in a coma. I didn't know that. And he's like my father. He's the Supreme Justice of Egypt. And then, you know, I just was very tired all year. I was looking for those 10 days vacation to go see my daughters and, and just get away from the office and just have a good time. And then here I am, I get a call. I have to go to Egypt because he is in a coma and he has to see me. Because many times I taught him this stuff. When he was Supreme Justice and he was way in the bench right there and I was a little student, I used to sit when I do research on vitamin and tell him, this is wrong, this is wrong, what you're doing is wrong, this is wrong. You do it. And he doesn't listen. He thinks he's judge, he can do anything he wants. And then all of a sudden I get a call. I said, I go there, I find him in a coma. I check the charts. I find he had a virus infection in the liver because his immune system bad, because he takes too many chemicals, too many stuff, he doesn't take care of himself. And he got to the point he has to pay for it. But I didn't say that to him, of course. And then all I said, God, guide me to anything you can think of that I can help him, because I don't know anything else to do for him. Then I looked at the chart and I figured, I told the doctor, his doctor is a big, famous doctor from the United States, work in Egypt. I told him, let me look at the chart. And then I looked at the chart. I said, what about nutrition? What you given him for nutrition for the last 3 weeks? Sugar and water. I said, okay. Have you analyzed the blood for poison? The poison. No, we haven't. Have you analyzed? I said, let us analyze the blood for the liver poison. The liver is supposed to detoxify. So if you check and I find poison in the blood. And I find this. Then we start giving him enemas every 2 hours around the clock and stuff like that because he was bleeding inside internally. Anyway, he wakes up. Because I have only 12 hours to stay in Egypt and come back. I just went 22 hours on the plane, I was 12 hours there, and 22 hours back. So I didn't have lots of time. So I sat with him, and that time, the Prime Minister of Egypt was coming in to visit him. And I didn't know who he is. But when I heard him, I told him, are you the brother of so-and-so? He said, yes. I asked my friend of mine in Chicago, that's his brother. I told him, you have responsibilities to this man. He said, what do you want us to do? I said, I want you to give him vitamins intravenously. It's going to cost $1,000 every day. We send it from the United States until we find him a new liver. And that's what they agreed to it. And they given it to him. They said, whatever you say, we'll do. Because he was a respected man. That man is the poorest man in the whole family, Supreme Justice. And I remember one day he was offered $20 million. I was sitting there, pride to make a decision in a case, $20 million. And he refused. And he lived in a small apartment. This is the kind of a man he was. That's why I went to help him, because that's the kind of man he is. He gives, he doesn't take anything from anybody. So this is a sign to tell you, if you wait until the last minute, you're going to pay the price. In your brain by Alzheimer's disease or losing memory or strokes, or your heart by having fatigue and tiredness and short of breath, or your lung by wheezing and allergy and all of that, or your liver by having chemicals, or your muscle by being flabby and also, or your hormones by having problem with sexual function, you will have problem eventually unless you pay attention to those 3 lectures we're going to talk about. And disease does not have limited age. It can attack you at the age of 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, or 100. We see basketball players drop dead on court, right or wrong? Why? Do you think that basketball player drop dead on court happened suddenly? Don't you think that person have a problem for so long and nobody found it? Right? Or does this make sense or no? You know, when I was coming in the plane from Amsterdam over Greenland, I told this story. Yeah, the flight attendant wake me up because I declare myself before I ride the plane. Always I declare myself as a physician, and I have my medical bag with me for help. Always I do that for every 5-hour flight. 3 to 5 hours, I tell the people that if you need help, let me know. And I have with me heart medicine, brain medicine, stroke medicine, ulcer medicine, migraine medicine, whatever you name it, I got it in that bag. Then, because one day I will have the same problem, maybe somebody will help me when I needed it too. Then she said, we need you, we have a problem. And I go, I find a 30-year-old man sitting. I said, where are you from? He said, from Korea. I said, what's the problem? I have some chest pain. I can tell right away he's dying. I said, tell me something about yourself, Ryan. What's bothering you? He went like that. When he went like this, I knew it is what? Listen, I didn't count how many in my hand. I shoved it in his mouth, took my hand out before he bites, you know? Because if they go in a coma, they clip on your finger and they break it, and he might have AIDS, I don't know. So I just put it inside, and then about a couple minutes later, he has cardiac arrest. So I did a CPR on him for about 5 hours. Me and the pilots, we talking when we're going to land, not going to land, you know, and with that, and he made it. Again, that's a sign that 30 years old, healthy, thin man, thin, he's not even fat, dropped dead. Did this happen suddenly? No. He's probably been sick for a long time. Probably in Korea, exposed to chemicals and poisoning and malnutrition and infections. Nobody cares. That is what happened. So when we talk about the role of hormones in our body, we have to know how those hormones do they work inside the body. This is how do they work. First of all, you eat food from outside. Your protein, your carbohydrate, your fat, your vitamins, your water, your mineral, your fiber, and you get some oxygen. All this will enter your body through your mouth or your nose. In the mouth, you have to chew the food. So, you have to have saliva. And saliva needs hormones, and needs vitamins, and needs minerals, and needs enzymes. It is not important right now to tell you which hormones now. But if you don't have it, then you will have dry mouth all the time, dry eyes, you don't have enough liquids, enough fluids, and some of us have this problem. Then the food will go down in the esophagus. And the esophagus has to be lubricated. And the lubrication right here is made of hormones and vitamin C and protein. And it goes to the stomach. It goes here to the stomach, where hormones and enzymes and vitamins will digest food. Right? This is what we're moving toward the cell right now. It's not important which hormone. The hormone is gastrin hormone, but it's not important right now. There's a hormone there. Then it goes from here to the pancreas, where the pancreas will release enzymes and hormones also. Insulin comes out. That's another hormone. Then it goes to the small intestine, where all the vitamins and food gets absorbed. and it goes to the what? The liver, where the liver removes bad fat and converts bad fat to good fat using beta-carotene and detoxify the chemicals out of the system and send healthy blood to the heart. The heart can send it through the body. Then the waste will come out through the colon right here. And the colon also is important. The colon, even it doesn't contribute to your health a lot, it is important because in the colon, it's like a plug. It keeps the food so many hours inside the intestine before it goes out, so you have a chance to absorb it. And in the meantime, in the colon, it detoxifies chemicals from the diet, from the food, and also it prevents you from having constipation or diarrhea. The blood will go to the heart. The food will go to the heart. And the heart will pump the blood. The heart right here will get the food, the protein, the carbohydrate, the fat, the vitamins, and the water and the mineral, and send it to the lung to get some oxygen, and send this blood to where? To the organs. The brain, and the bone, and the skin, and the heart itself, and the lung, and the stomach or the digestive system, and the kidney, and the rest of the body. Every organ gets what it needs. And here is what disease occurs. Most of our disease occurs in organs. In the brain, we get memory loss, we get dizziness, we get depression, we have problems in vision, imbalance on sleep, insomnia, and all of these things. In the bone, we have osteoarthritis, we have osteoporosis, we have weak bones, we broke bones, and all of these things. In the skin, we get cancer, we get aging of the skin, we have to do all the stuff to the skin to make it look better. In the heart, it gets weaker. In the lung, it gets weaker. In the stomach, you have heartburn, indigestion, and gas, and all these problems with absorption and digestion, constipation, diarrhea, all these things, and so on and so on. So these organs here, we call them target organs. A target organ means the organ that makes you alive. The blood is not an important organ. The blood just carries things to the organ. But your quality of life, the thing that makes you feel good, is your brain, is your skin, is your eye, is your heart, is your organ itself. So diseases of organs is what we have to improve. And those are the organs, they get strokes, they get cancer, they get Alzheimer's, they get arthritis, and so on and so on. These organs made of what? They're made of cells. And if you look at one single cell of any organ, it's so simple. Food will go in. We already talked in previous lecture about antioxidants, vitamin E and C and beta-carotene. How do they help to transport food inside? You remember that in previous lecture. And the food will be burned inside to produce what? Energy. And that's what we live for, energy. Every cell has to have energy. Energy of the brain, then the brain works better. Energy in the eye can see better. Energy in the skin can feel better. Whenever energy is heat. And that heat comes from the food being burned. And the waste is being what? Eliminated from the body. We talked about that in the past. Who burned this? how this is get burned. If you look inside every single cell in the body, in this good-looking guy right here, right in front of you, you find one common factor. Every single cell has inside it a laboratory. It's called mitochondria. And inside that mitochondria, there is a guy, chemist. His name is ATP. Mr. ATP is the specialist that takes all your food and listens to the brain, the mother gland, very well, is in communication all the time because he's in every tissue, and he produces energy according to the message is coming from above. You understand this or not? The food might be there, the C, the E, the protein, everything, but it's not going to get burned. So do not believe anybody who say you can take too much of something. No. Take a lot and let it be stored ready for emergency. Because when you need it, it's there. But imagine if you need it, it's not there, what will happen then? You wish. You don't die. You develop miserable life. Quality of life, it changes. When you don't have enough reserve to produce energy, then your quality of life, it changes. We don't want people to live to be 100 and 110 and 90 and 80 in nursing homes. We want people to live 60 years or 70 years or 80 years or 90 years in good quality life. That the brain can think, and the heart can pump, and the leg can walk, and the sexual organs can function, and the intestine can digest. And if that's all happening, we don't have to worry about anything. But that is the cause, the problem right here. ATP is hormone. The ATP is controlled by the thyroid, the parathyroid, just to make you more depressed about it, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, calcitonin, adrenaline, noradrenaline, aldosterone. I'm going through all the hormones of the body. They all control ATP. So it is not just a drop of something. It is many hormones coming to tell him specifically what he's supposed to be making that day. Let us say, go back here again. Let us say this body of yours, right here, recognized a stroke coming in the brain. Recognized it by lack of oxygen in certain area. Then the message will be going to the ATP of the brain and the heart to tell them, open up the artery, prevent the blood clots, get more vitamin into the area, get more oxygen, remove more chemicals, and all the garbage trucks be going there removing chemicals, and the whole thing going on and on in the brain without you knowing. And then all of a sudden, you say to yourself this, gee, I felt dizzy one day, but now I feel fine. I felt lightheaded one day, now I feel fine. Have you ever felt that way? What happened when you felt lightheaded? It is a mini stroke. Lightheaded, always problem in the brain. Even if low blood sugar, it's still mini stroke. Don't you think if you don't have any sugar, you're going to have a stroke? Right? Hypoglycemia, insulin reaction. Does people die from insulin reaction or no? Right? You got lack of sugar, the brain will die. Then that's a stroke. So this ATP specializes in keeping all these organs working properly. And our goal of this first lecture to establish one fact, that the hormones are very important to every organ in the body for every single disease. So if you meet anybody with any disease, the most important two things you have to worry about. Is this person you meet, nutrition is good? Number one, to worry about. Number two, are his hormones good? Because you don't know about the heart, you don't know about the other things. Two simple things. Nutrition is in your hand. All you have to do, give him the sheet I passed around and say, okay, here's your vitamins, take all these vitamins. And if he argues, tell him, Dr. Nasr says so, just take it. And if he said, well, it's going to hurt me, tell him, I take it back, I pay your money back. Take it. You follow me or no? And if he argues too much, tell him, take it for free. And if you feel good, pay double. But if you feel bad, we'll give your money back. I'm saying you're going to meet people argue all the time with you. You have kids, especially kids. You tell them something, they go the opposite. They think they're invulnerable. But when they come to my office and they sit with me on one-to-one basis, even the 7, 8 years old, we sit together alone, talking, the same way I'm talking to you. He walks out, he never misses his vitamins after that. Never. Because you've got to communicate with every person according to their level, not your level. You don't go to alcoholics and tell him, shame on you, drink alcohol. You can't do that. You have to know why he is there and be nice, be gentle, and be supportive rather than enemy. You understand or no? Somebody uses abusive words, bad, hyperactive child, throw things around. He's not doing it on purpose. He's doing it because there is imbalance inside this body. He cannot control it. And you are God in front of him. He cannot see God. You're the one who brought him to life. You're the one who's bigger. You're the one who can make him live or die. Because you can give him food, you can take it from him. Right or wrong? So he looks at you as everything. And if you are mean and rude and don't care, then he grow up to be nobody cares. Not only we don't have these people like you around that take care of people, we have people actually, parents, fathers, who abuse their own children by words or by action. And you know what? Because they are sick themselves. They are themselves ill. And this is why we have to treat them also, those parents, like that. So we have, this is the role of hormones, how it works. Let us say this body, this cell have cancer developing, have a chemical right here. The message will come to get rid of that chemical. So we can actually reverse strokes, reverse Alzheimer, reverse immune disease, reverse cancer, reverse every disease if we patient and work slowly with that person without rushing things through. It took time to develop the problem. It's going to take time to get rid of it. But is there hope? Yes. My patients right now who are 80, they're doing better than many doctors' patients at the age of 30. They are. The proof of that, they're not dying. They're not in the hospital. They don't spend their nights in intensive care units and all of that. They have another time. They play tennis, they play golf, they do this, they do that, and there is no, I don't even know how old are my patients. When they walk in, I don't even know how old they are. I treat them, and the only reason I ask how old are you, just to see if they are on Medicare or not. Because sometimes I think, they're probably 50. And they turn out to tell me, no, I'm 71. I said, okay. Then you're entitled to that program then. So this is about hormones in general. And the lecture was intended to go a little bit further than that, but we're going to stop right now. And next lecture is going to be, I have it here, she have all these plans right here. How female hormone work with nutrition and vitamins. That's beautiful. I'm glad she did not make me talk about that tonight. That's for next time. Because next time we will talk about estrogen hormone and progesterone hormone and testosterone hormone and adrenal hormone. How wonderful they are. We're going to talk about estrogen hormone, how we're finding out that lack of estrogen was causing wrinkles of the skin. We're finding out a lot about hormones that we knew before. So right now, we are changing our plans for our patients that we give them estrogen, progesterone creams now rather than makeup. We give them those creams to try to keep the skin young all the time with vitamin E, oil, and stuff like that. We'll be talking about osteoporosis next time and the calcium and alfalfa, how they prevent osteoporosis. We'll also be talking about how hormones can keep women young in heart disease and fatigue. And I want you to read this article right there because it has lots of information. We're going to be talking about it next time. Sexual dysfunction in women, we're going to be talking about that. Male hormones, really, it's not going to be as long as female hormones. Female hormones females are much more complicated than males. You know, every woman equal to two men. Because she has to take care, she has to have a brain and a bone and a skin and a heart and a lung and a kidney and a liver and that to take care of herself and take care of another human being she creates. God creates inside her. And that is what's very complex that we need to know more about it. And we start having, now there are organizations, scientific organizations, just doing research, nothing but about women's problems. Not quackery medicine. Avoid quackery medicine. Avoid health food store medicine type of thing. And don't listen to these people in health food stores. They tell you, take this for women, take this for this, take this. Be scientific. When you want to do something, be that you get in benefit, no harm. And you definitely get your money back worse. You get a result. You're not just getting placebo, like many placebos in the market, or you're getting DHEA or melatonin that it can cause cancer later on in your body. No, we want you to have the right amount of hormone that you can enjoy. So this is very interesting right here about that because I just bought these newspaper articles. I pick them from all over the world, whatever country I'm in. I just pick and read about and take a picture of it. This has just been discovered by them, of course, that the brain can stay fit. A discovery of a healing chemical offers new hope for treating Alzheimer's disease and memory loss in men and women. And let's see what do they say underneath. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, hormones, and vitamins. Great discovery. Okay. Another one. Which one is that? I have no idea. I just cut them from when I'm in the aeroplane. Oh, this is about hormone. This is another one here. This was Los Angeles Times. Okay. This is how an artery and all these supplements and hormones and antioxidants and all of these things can make the body young. Whole page. Remember, 20 years, exactly 1979 or 1980, I was traveling to Memphis, Tennessee to give a lecture, and I read in the paper, in the plane, the following. And I want you to be the judge. That chemicals are good for you. And the people who are saying chemicals are bad, they're ignorant and quacks. And chemicals actually better than the stuff that God made in food because we know how to make it right. You know what? I read that in the newspaper. And now there is a different writing in the newspaper. That is blessing. There are people that open their minds and head to listen more and more, and I get less headache from the medical society that I'm no longer a quack. I'm a doctor who knows what he's doing. My professor of In medical school, he used to call me, well, he couldn't call me quack, really, because he knew I have a PhD. I was a professor of biochemistry. So he called a crazy Egyptian. But for every test in the school, medical school, I get the highest results always, and I always challenge him. So he tried to say, I think you need a psychiatrist or something because you're talking about vitamins and all this stuff we never heard about it. You said stress causes disease. You said chemicals are bad for you. You said the vitamins are good for you. We never heard about these things before. I think you're just weird. Now, I graduated from my program, 1979. In 1995, he comes to see me to apply for a job. And then he works for me. Then I reminded him. I said, "You my professor. You remember what you used to tell me about this and this?" He said, "Yes, I do." I said, "All I want you, don't listen to me anymore. Talk to my patients. Talk to my patients who have Alzheimer's, who have diabetes, who have ulcerative colitis, who have heart attack, who have cancer, who have rheumatologists, who have rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus. Talk to them. Tell them what they do. How come they look so good?" Then he asked a question. What you been doing? Your blood test, you should be crippled. To tell them, "I'm taking vitamins." And "Oh, this is garbage. Vitamins don't do any of that." Finally, he might be believing in it, but I don't think he is. He still believes that man can control nature, but can control everything, and there is nothing you can learn from others if you're a doctor. I'm going to give you some chance to ask some questions. Before the lecture, we talked about that. We said I'm going to make the lecture 1 hour and then give you about 10, 15 minutes a question. It's an hour and a half right now. So we all get back at 20 miles an hour to Chicago. I'll be there tomorrow morning, and then I hope you'll be home tonight sometime. I would like to take some questions, and if you don't come next time, that would be your problem, not mine, because the next lecture is built on this lecture. And most of people, when you speak about nutrition, one lecture, they think they know everything, and they don't need next lecture. I think it's wonderful that you took the time to come here, but I'm sure if the Packers were playing right now, most of you will not be in this room. If the guy leaves his wife being buried by herself to watch the football game, then I think you would not be here either. But I want you to just think about something before I leave. Think about yourself as number one. Your health is number one. You are number one. Everybody else in your life is number two. Your children number two. Your husband is number two. Your wife is number two. Your parents number two. Because if you're not good to yourself, you're not good for anybody else. You got to think about yourself. And anybody who does not agree with you and that you are number one for yourself, that person is not your friend. That person has to be changed somehow. So this is what you have to think. Anybody have any questions? Yes. I don't. I have done my master's degree on bioflavonoids. I have done the PhD finished in alpha and beta toxicology in Egypt. My professors, the three of them was from Harvard and one from Russia and one from Egypt, were specialized in pharmacognosy, which that the science of teaching doctors there to develop food that have antioxidants, bioflavonoids to prevent strokes and create more elasticity so we have less varicose veins and heart attacks. And we can't really determine a specific dose. But through the years of practice, I have asked questions to patients. I have noticed things. Then what I did, the first thing I did, I do not listen to ignorant people. The people who tell me there is the recommended dosage for a child for vitamin C, I ask, how did he come to that conclusion? He is not living in that child's house. He doesn't know what he eats. He doesn't know how much stress he's under or she or he. How does he know how much he needs? And we know for a fact, if I knew you would be here, I would have gotten you the article of Harvard University of Nobel Prize nominees and antioxidants. How do they remove chemicals from the body? How do they convert denatured DNA, which you never heard about that before, neither am I, 99% corrected back to normal using beta-carotene and vitamin C and vitamin E in the research in Harvard. What happened to all these papers? How come we don't see it in Lancet, in Family Practice Physician, in MA Journal, in New England? It's because the editors select what they want to print. And whoever paying the most advertisement in that magazine, they're going to get their points across. Are you following me as a physician or not? And that is my belief right now, is we're not asking. 1979, for example, I formulated a group to clean I was in UC Berkeley. We formulated a group to clean the San Francisco Bay from DDT. They call us communists. Because me and few chemists, we felt that DDT causes problems in the eagles' eggs and stuff like that, and also it's a chemical. It is so difficult to fight money and big organization. It is difficult right now to fight HMO. They're so powerful, they can put you out of business in one day as a doctor. They can control us just like this. All they have to do, don't pay you your fee, and you close your office next day. Or do what they want. It is not really the medicine that we went to medical school for. So, applying nutrition to the practice is not hurting the doctor in any way. Your question right here about how much, I don't know. I made a list, which you can ask Joyce in the back if she make a copy, or call my office, I mail it to you. I make a list, guessingly, how much approximately vitamin A and B, C, D, zinc, mineral, calcium, magnesium, all of this, approximately ages group needs. That's a variable. I control it. If they call me, I said, you have arthritis, you have stomach problem, you have this, then I adjust the vitamin C dose, or I adjust the calcium dose, or I adjust the alfalfa dose, because if they have irritable bowel disease, then I cut down the alfalfa and so on and so on. But in general, there is no research being done on that subject except a few people telling us that the maximum amount of vitamin C you need is 100 milligrams. For heaven's sake, one cigarette burns 25 milligrams of vitamin C. And the cigarette has something called azopyrene. And the amount of smog comes from your car in a city like Milwaukee or Los Angeles equal to 17 packs of cigarettes of azopyrene we're inhaling, and the guy who smokes one pack a day, he gets 18 packs a day. And I'm getting 17. So, and we know that vitamin C, Linus Pauling says, and he's not a quack like some doctors called him, he had 2 Nobel Prizes in biochemistry, so he could not be a quack either. And we physicians tended to call non-physician quacks. That's not true. Chiropractors are not quacks. People who are healers are not quacks. Massages or physical therapists are not quacks. They people try to help others in a different way. Acupuncturists are not quacks. We are physicians. With our knowledge, we can guide all these people to the right path and prevent them from becoming do quackery treatments and get with the mainstream, and we have better results. But they've been pushed away. Vitamins is one of them. So the best thing to do with vitamins, I tell the patient, eat good food, exercise, don't drink, don't do all of these things, take some food supplements, and let us check your hormones, let's check your arthritis, let's check your autoimmune disease, like chronic fatigue. That's why actually I distribute this for free today. This was written for physicians, not for patients. Because when you read the language, it's all scientific language. It is only because many doctors tell their patient who have fatigue, it's in your head. You don't have fatigue. There's no such thing, chronic fatigue syndrome, or fibromyalgia. That doctor does not know the law. If he called the National Institute of Health at the city of Maryland, he will know it is being recognized as an entity called chronic fatigue syndrome, Yabi syndrome. But we don't know what causes. But in page, I think 4 or 5, it's been identified right here in page, I don't have page numbers anyway right here. When I printed that, they forgot those numbers. Anyway, they find out that chronic fatigue, the disturbance observed in fatigue patients include depressed natural killer cell activity. So you have to measure antibodies. And the next page says the most common thing we saw, lots of viruses. The antigen and antibodies. Why? And with 80 million Americans now have Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, herpes 1 and herpes 2, and Coxsackie viruses, and we're telling them it's normal. I do not think having all these viruses are normal. That's too much stress on the body. So my recommendation is you can, welcome to come to the office and spend the day with me there, seeing patients, when I'm seeing patients, and see how we do it. You're welcome to call me over the phone and we discuss things. You have my phone number there. But don't call the other number, 843-8860. That doctor, he's anti-nutrition. My professor, he's the one who runs the other clinic, and he tells the people that drugs are everything. Nutrition has nothing to do with healing. So I'm not going to refer anybody to him anymore. But in any way, that is why when you talk to patients, you see, my high blood pressure patient, I tell him, eat all the salt you want. I'm a cardiologist. And I want you to eat 20 eggs a day. And they have high cholesterol. And I challenge them that when you take all the salt and eggs, we do the blood test, and you will see you have more HDL and LDL next time still. And we find that because the low calcium is what makes salt cause high blood pressure. That's what it is. And why we tell people to take calcium supplement for salt is a very valid. You know, we have a disease now I see in my patients, lack of salt. They are leaving salt right now, and you know salt is what makes you thirsty. If you don't eat salt, you're not going to get thirsty, you're not going to have water, you're going to have problems. And salt will become an enemy. Cholesterol become an enemy. Cholesterol, we make cholesterol ourselves. So I think we are just trying to blame it on something rather than concentrate on nutrition. Any other question? Yes. It's the same question the doctor asked right there. The general thing here, I cannot sit across from you and say, this 22 years old woman right here, it has, she needs this and this and this. I can't do that. I would say, I rather see anybody take a little bit of B and C and E and calcium and zinc and magnesium and calcium than take huge amount of one and leave the other. You know why? Because I don't know the food you eat, it has everything in it or not. And if you go back to the lecture I gave 2 years ago about why we need food supplements, when I went through the analysis of the soil and analysis of the air and the storage and the processing, we explained all of that stuff. So I think another thing, you know, we have to be careful with, we cannot keep giving drugs to correct the hormones. We have to be careful not to give hormones unless the body itself failing to make its own hormones. And the question, here's a very serious question. I'm going to challenge the whole medical field with it. Why a woman, when she is young, she has estrogen and progesterone, and she's doing well with it, Once she has a hysterectomy, she does not need progesterone anymore, only estrogen replacement therapy. You heard about that. I think it's incorrect. I think progesterone, if you read all the papers being published on progesterone, it has a lot more benefit than just cancer of the endometrium. That's what we used to think it causes. So I think that hormonal need more research, and as long as men control budgets of research and control life, women are going to be the last to get any benefits. And that's the way. Why, I asked myself one question. Why Medicare pay for PSA for a man will not pay for CA-125 for a woman? PSA to detect cancer of the prostate for a man. CA-125 cancer of the ovary. And they both have the same sensitivity. Because a man in Washington decided that. And that's why. I think that's it for today. And you have my phone number in there. If you need any question, you can give me a call. And thank you very much.